4-game NHL slate tonight. Let's help the people make sense of it. So, starting in DFS, who is the top center to play on tonight's slate, AJ? The most expensive guy, Auston Matthews, $9K.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to argue against using Matthews with just how great he's been lately. But I think I want to spend up in a few other spots. So I'm going to go down just a little bit here in price. I'm going to stick with Toronto and instead look at John Tavares at 5,900. I mean, that's a huge discount compared to Matthews. Now, obviously, Tavares has a 13-game goal drought. That's a bit of a concern, but he's got 10 helpers over that stretch. And last time he faced Buffalo, he got a goal and an assist. It's a good, matchup. It's probably the best matchup on the slate here. So to hope that Tavares can maybe break out of it, still get a piece of the Leafs without having to go all the way up to Matthews, I think makes sense in this one.
Paul, are you going all the way up to Matthews, or do you want to save some money at the center position?
You know what? First of all, hats off to AJ. I think that's a great idea. I've been thinking about it all morning, so I'm glad he brought it up. I think Matthews is an outstanding play at 9,000. He's the best scorer in hockey. 41 shots on goal in his last 10 games played. Just consistency personified. He's going to win the Rocket Richard Trophy going away. And you might pair him, though, with a guy like Tavares if you want to double down on the Leafs, or you can go to the lower end of that spectrum and pick a guy like Anze Kopitar out as well. First-line center for LA. He's been a model of consistency as well, with 12 points in his last 10 games played and pouring 32 shots on goal. Dallas hasn't been exactly the button-down defensive team that they've been in the past, so that might be a good pairing. Alternatively, go contrarian and take the combination of Hintz and Thompson from Dallas and Buffalo, respectively, for a combined total of $13,100. They're both scoring as well. So it's high-low with the favorites, or in the middle with the two guys that are playing against them tonight for me.
All right, Paul, the best DFS winger tonight is who? Again, most expensive guy here on Toronto, Mitch Marner, 7,900.
Jesse, he was the player of the month. 23 points in 12 games played in February. An outstanding 4 weeks for Marner, and he's playing lights out right now. So that's a great bet against an overmatched Buffalo team tonight. If you want to look elsewhere, I look at the Dallas team. They've got Robertson playing very well there on the first line, 6 goals in his last 10 games, along with 32 shots on goal. Comes in at $6,700. I like Philip Forsberg. I don't understand the love for Seattle tonight. I think the prices on some of these Nashville guys is a lot cheaper than it should be. So Forsberg for me is $6,100 is a bargain.
All right, AJ, you mentioned that you were paying down with Tavares at center. Is this the spot you're paying up at the wing?
It is, absolutely. So I'm going to go all the way up to Marner here at 7,900. But look, you think about it, you're still saving, over $1,000 in salary here compared to using Auston Matthews. So you're still getting a bit of a break and able to pay up here. I think another option, if you don't want to go Leafs, maybe you're going to fade the Leafs, just contrarian play, because I do think they'll all be pretty highly owned tonight. Since the All-Star break, Chris Kreider has gone ice cold. He has just 1 point in his last 6 contests, but that served to just lower his price tag to just $6,300. I think it's good value versus the Blues. They've had their own, defensive struggles. Having said that, like I said, I think Marner is still the best play here. Paul kind of alluded to this: 15 goals, 20 helpers in his last 18 contests. It's why he was the best player in the league for the last month.
All right, let's talk value here now, AJ. Where are you going?
I'm going to go to center for value and look at Braden Shen for 4,600. He scored in all but 2 of his last 14 contests, and that includes his current 4-game point streak. I really am surprised to see him under 5K when you consider everything he's been doing lately. The Rangers are a tough matchup. They've been really good defensively, the tightest D in the league over the month, since February started. But the Blues have had the second best offense in the month of February here in the start of March. 4.38 goals per game for St. Louis over that stretch. So, the unstoppable object, meets the immovable object, or whatever that phrase is. I totally botched that. But I think this is a good spot to maybe get a little bit of some of those Blues with how good their offense has been.
All right, Paul, need some value for the people. Where are you going?
Unstoppable force, immovable object, buddy.
Okay. I didn't know what it was either, to be honest. So
best value plays tonight. I think you got to look at Nashville. Matt Duchene, $4,900, 8 points in his last 10 games. Tyler Seguin on a tear himself, 29 shots on goal, 8 points in his last 10 games. Braden Shen, I love the call by AJ there, but the two best bets for me are even lower than these guys. At $3,500, Nashville's Mikael Granlund, centered on the top line. He's got 6 points in his last 10 games played, but that Nashville team's capable of running up a big total tonight, and he'll be a part of that. And then Brendan Saad, first line for St. Louis. I like that call as well. Only $3,400 for a guy who plays it physical. The Rangers don't like that, and so I think he could have a big night on Broadway tonight.
All right, Paul, which goal total are you targeting on the DK Sportsbook? They're all 5.5 except for that Buffalo-Toronto, which is 6.5.
Yeah, and that one makes a ton of sense. Buffalo and Toronto is going to be a lot of goal scoring. Peter Mrazek's in net for the Leafs. He hasn't exactly put a lid on the goals against, but he's coming up with some wins, and that's because the Leafs offense is just on a tear. And they might not roll up 10 goals like they did against Detroit, but I think they're good to get about 5 or 6, and then that leaves Buffalo to get 2 or 3, and then they're over 7.5 on the outline, which is where I'm headed for a plus 185 payoff. And I've been on the Dallas Seattle matchup all over this show. I think Nashville rolls a big number and heads to the alt total almost by themselves. I'm saying over 6.5 to get that 140 payoff.
AJ, what do you think? Which goal total are you targeting?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I don't hate taking the over in all 4 games tonight. As Paul said, the Leafs Sabres with that high 6.5 mark, Toronto could get there on their own. And Paul said Mrazek is the confirmed starter tonight, so that's not exactly a ringing endorsement for Buffalo, for a shutout here for Buffalo to be stymied. But as, to talk about one of the other ones, the 5.5 for the Blues and Rangers. Again, Rangers, good offense, good defense, Blues, good offense, but I do think there's still an opportunity here to get, at 5.5 is just so low. 6 goals, I think, is easily reached. But yeah, I think the entire slate is the over option for me.
All right. Is there a puck line or money line that you like tonight, AJ?
I'll be honest, I really don't. There's not a ton of spots here in the puck line or money line that I love. You're giving up 165 to get, with the Leafs, even on the puck line there. So there's just not a good value spot for me. If I had to pick, I would take the Rangers on the money line, minus 110 going up against the Blues. It's basically a coin flip game. I give the edge to the Rangers between the net minding, and they do have decent offense, even if it's been a little down lately. But I'm not confident they could beat them on the puck line. It has a plus 225 payout. I really like that aspect of it, but I'm just not sold that the Rangers could pull off a 2-goal margin of victory here.
All right, Paul, puck line or money line that you like?
I don't like any on the money line, but I'll give you 2 on the puck line that I really like. Nashville, I think, is going to crush Seattle, so I'd give up a 1.5 goals there to get the plus 145. And Dallas over LA, well, I'm not as keen on that one, but I like the payoff. 185 if Dallas does pull off the win by 2 goals there. They've been playing well, and LA just got bombed at home against Boston. So they're in the road, and I don't know that they're feeling great about themselves.